Welcome to qualifier number 2, second qualifier in Meta Madness, everybody. And we have Tomb of the Spider Queen as our first map in the best of 3 series. So, some things have changed. I talked about this a lot during the first qualifier. And of course, we now have finally pre-bans. And we actually have a lot more pre-bans for the second qualifier than I personally expected. Now, there is obviously a maximum of bans that we can facilitate with Heroes of the Storm. There's 89 heroes in the pool, so roughly 90. So there's only so many that you can pre-ban before things go too crazy way too early. But for the second qualifier, we already make things spicy. We have 8 heroes that are pre-banned. You can find them right down here. So these heroes are not allowed to be played anymore. Doesn't matter which qualifier we're talking about. It doesn't matter what we're talking about, the playoffs. They cannot be played anymore in this tournament. There's one little exception, and that is that the 3 top gifters, the 3 people that gift the most subs in that month, in the time frame until the playoffs, to the channel and help therefore to ban more and more heroes, those 3 can veto 1 hero. So if a hero is banned that they absolutely love, that they like, then they can save that hero for the playoffs, just in case that we are going to get some of them again in the playoffs, so you know what exactly happened. But for the qualifiers, all of these heroes that you can see down here are now unavailable completely. And obviously, as we're continuing into qualifier number 3, number 4, more heroes will likely then also be banned out. Now, important is also to note that, in case you're not familiar with the concept of Meta Madness, this is not the only rule that we have to push people out of their comfort zone a little bit, but what we also do is, again, the rule that you can only play a hero once in a series. So after the first game, the 10 heroes that have been played here cannot be played again. Meta Madness 8, yeah, we've had 8 of these already, so we've been running this for a couple of years. Real fun format that we came up with back then, and I'm actually kind of proud of it. It's honestly shaking things up quite nicely, and I absolutely love it. But Meta Madness 8 has $2,000 in prize money, fully financed by myself this time. We don't really have a big name sponsor or anything for this event, so it's fully financed by me here. We're now jumping into the second qualifier, and through the qualifiers, the participating teams can accumulate points. The deeper they go into a tournament, the more points they get. Those points get accumulated over all the qualifiers, and then at the end, we're going to determine the top teams that make it into the next round, into the playoffs. So that's pretty much where we're at right now. And we got Team Ash on the left in blue going up against the SL Enjoyers with Arian, who's locking in Sylvanas fairly early here. So I'm kind of hyped to see what exactly the teams are gonna pull off now. There's also the question, by the way, how teams are keeping up with which heroes are being banned. Now, generally speaking, they can obviously do that no matter how they want to do it. We also have an Excel sheet that they usually get where they see the pre-banned heroes already and that they can play around with a little bit. But most of the teams, since most of them have already participated in multiple Meta Madness in the past, have by now come up with their own system that just works for them. Excel is obviously a great tool for that. And if at any point a team picks a hero that is not available technically, then the draft is usually just restarted, and up to the point where that hero was picked, they have to pick the same heroes. So the question came up, it's pretty straightforward, but yeah, nobody is losing a map just because they accidentally misclick and pick the wrong hero here. So yeah. Now we get Mirrodin, and we get Deckard Kane. The SL Enjoyers are playing with a sub, by the way, so they're playing with Twice, currently on Mirrodin, who has played with the team plenty of times in the past. I mean, the name should be familiar. It's always like leading you to a little bit of a pun that usually falls short. Dad jokes all around, of course. But yeah, generally speaking, they are familiar with their sub. This is not something that came out of left field and in the last moment they realized, oh my god, we're missing a couple of players. This was actually planned. With 5 qualifiers in total is one of those things where some teams can also decide, hey, this weekend is just really bad for us, we can't participate. So yeah, we're going to do it another time. We're going to participate, we're going to sit one out, participate next week, and so on and so forth. But alright, with that, we now have Anubarak banned out, and also Sergeant Hammer. Tomb of the Spider Queen, Jojo was banned first. I mean, again, you want to look at wave clear. The rotation between the middle towards the top is particularly important, but really just controlling the turn-in point and therefore also the waves is super important on this map. It's extremely small as well. And we get Garrosh and Chromie. Alright. Now, I personally would be a huge fan of a Zarya last pick, but that's mostly because I love Garrosh and Zarya as a combo, which has been denied several times, by the way, in these qualifiers already as is, because teams didn't want to go up against it. But yep, our final double pick for the red team. Still need a little bit more damage. Haven't chosen a side laner yet. There's obviously plenty still up. Yes, Blaze is banned and so is Hogger, but Leo is still up for grabs. And after Sylvanas, we're now also getting Jaina. Alright. So, they're gonna attack teammate hard. Got a Dreadlord in the game as well. And that leaves us with the final pick for game number 1 here in qualifier number 2. I had a lot of fun with the first qualifier already. I really did. Great comps, great games. It was pretty awesome. And if the second qualifier is anywhere near as good as the first one, then it's going to be a delight. So, Tomb of Spider Queen, our final pick, it's Tychus. And with that, we're heading into game number 1. Team Ash against the SL Enjoyers. Let's go, everybody. Team Ash against the Enjoyers, game number 1, and on the left we have the blue team with Renella on Rhaegar. So, Bishops on Chromie, got Lopaka on Tychus, Morenas on Yrel, and Shizakid is playing Garrosh. To the right side of the map, the Enjoyers with Lavakal on Deckard Cain, Ether on Leoric, Arion on Sylvanas, Itrax on Jaina, and Myrden gets played by Twice. Well, and with that, we're in the game, and we have, of course, the first chance for both of the teams to take the lead in our first round. Now, again, in case that this wasn't clear from the first qualifier already, this is a double elimination system, so currently we find ourselves in the winner's bracket, but thanks to the system that we're running, every qualifier lasts 2 days. So if you lose in the first round, this is not the end of your tournament run for you. You still have a chance in the loser's bracket, and we actually saw that already coming in the first qualifier, because the winning team made a bit of a run through the losers bracket there eventually, so it was pretty impressive to see that unfold. And I honestly can't wait for those teams to show up also now in the second qualifier. There's also a bit of a sad news. I already highlighted this earlier on the Twitch stream, but one of the teams actually disbanded, and it is Ping Gap, the team with the American player. So apparently they just told the admins that it's a little bit too much for them to handle. I'm not quite sure if it's about the ping or if it was just the time investment over the weekend where you have to play in the 2 days, but either way, the Americans have withdrawn from the tournament. Skork and Ultralisk are now playing in a different team. They're actually playing in the Akatsuki, so already fun for every Naruto fan, I suppose. With Masquerade and a few more. I'm not quite sure who else is in there. We're gonna cast them later, unless of course they get dropped very, very early. But yeah, just as a little bit of a side note, that they are now part of a different team and that the Americans, at least for the time being, have withdrawn. I'm not sure if Cure is gonna sub in with some of the teams as he has done in the past on what's happening there with Madaran with Legacy, but time will tell, of course. Now, first camps are getting attacked already. It's at the 1 minute mark, and look at that. Early aggression from the blue team as we are being used for them. Myrden jumps in, but Deckard Cain is already gone, and that means that your main healer is gone. Your only healer, actually. So they have to abandon the camp after all. Can't really sustain that. If you still have a healer around and your opponent doesn't, then you obviously know where the wind's blowing from. So, yeah. With that, we now have on level 4 also, the bigger they are. So Tychus with the grenade build is at the same time trying to chunk down the hit points on the front line, particularly, of course, of Myrden. And with the early level 4 talent, thanks to the kill, they were trying to go and follow up with the second, but couldn't. Now the opponent with Ruby as the level 4 talent has also gotten into the paralyzing rage with Ether. But obviously a very, very nice early game for Team Ash now. They moved in, they took Deckard Cain down, that gives them a bit of an experience lead. They were able to steal the camp away from the opponent, so pressure on the fort right from the get-go. Things are going well. It's a small advantage, but it's something that they can build on. And they have already put the opponent on the back foot and really limited them a bit here. Now, on the gem front, it's a little bit different though, because there's not really a huge advantage or anything that Team Ash could get through that kill. What they're currently trying to do is, of course, take down a few more heroes and deny some gems to the opponent. And they are actually about to get a third kill. Second kill against Leoric, the third one against Jaina. denied a few gems to the red team, and not too many. I think 9 in total coming from Leoric, and now they have the opportunity to turn in for the first Web Weaver wave. But with that early game aggression, they're already showcasing very clearly that they want to be the ones to drive the agenda here, that they want to be the ones to really make all of the decisions, and it's working out very nicely for them. With 3 kills to 0, you're looking at a solid lead in experience, an early level 7 for them as well, and on top of that, they can now start to turn in, they're taking the walls down, and this is just all in all looking very, very good early on. If they can now combo all of this properly, then that might snowball hard. But the red team, they're of course not giving up here. They're still looking for the opportunity. They're just looking to slowly close the gap in experience so they at least hold the same talent. But what they can do there in the long run is a different question. It's a bit of a meme that we have 49 gems turned in and they only need a single one, but they're struggling to make that happen. Instead, they're going for Murden, and guess what? Twice actually in trouble. Straight into the arms of Lopaka's Tigers, who chunked him down to 1/3 of its hit points very quickly with the help of a few other heroes. So by now we have a level 7 for both teams. That gives the red team, the Storm League Enjoyers, a bit more wiggle room and also the opportunity to finally fight back on even footing. But still, that single gem that the blue team needs. It seems like Morenas is going to be the one to turn it in. And yes, there it is. Blue team gets the first Web Weavers, and are they losing? Oh my god, Garrosh, he's alive. But Jaina gets blown to pieces. Goodbye, Dreadlord. So yeah, Jaina gets blown to pieces, she's gone, and that's a bit, yeah, that's kind of unfortunate, because if they kill Garrosh, they have a very easy defense. But now that they not only missed out on the kill against the main tank of the blue team, but also lost Jaina, this push is now gonna hit them even harder than it was before. So definitely not too amazing from their perspective. It's also 4 kills to 0 by now, which shows a pretty clear trend here. Once that level 10 abilities are in the hands of Team Ash, matters are gonna get worse, and it's already bad enough as it is, as you can see here. Deckard Kane gets absolutely crushed, so he's gone. That fort in the middle has no chance, and up at the top they are already putting some additional damage onto another one. I mean, all in all, I really think they could maybe also get something done here down at the bottom of the map. Seems like Ether is going to be the target, and with the 15 gems in his hands, I can totally understand why. So those are all lost now to the Storm League Enjoyers. The blue team dove deep to get that kill, and did it they get it? They did. It's early. I only had 1 coffee. I'm sorry. We're getting there. We're getting there. Give me another coffee, and we're going to be fine. But yeah, get it, they did. So 15 gems removed, Leo is down 6 kills to 0, and they have level 10 abilities. So the map is theirs at this point. They can move in, take all of these camps, and also think about getting the next objective, because they're sitting at 51 gems now. They are 4 short of another turn-in. Yes, technically the red team has a full turn-in available to them, but you don't want to fight into a level 10 ability on the other side, so you gotta be a bit careful with that. And the blue team is already trying to use that window that they have here. Renella turns in another 11. That leaves them again 1 gem short, which starts to be a bit of a theme here. Somebody needs to turn in a single gem, please. They're going for the attack again, but now everybody has level 10. Boah, the ancestral timing. Garrosh keeping himself alive long enough so that Rhaegar can kick in, but the Lulnado, for just a second, blocking his path of retreat. It tracks a bit low, but still able to get out. And they still haven't turned in. 1 gem is all they need. Tigers has 1. Renella has 1. And the blue team turned in at the bottom, as Morenas is the one finally delivering. So 2nd Web Weaver wave in a row, and the red team is absolutely desperate to get a kill quickly. You can really tell here. They see Garrosh, and can they get it? Yes, they can! Garrosh is down, but the fight isn't over yet. With the Entomb that has been dropped, Ether for just a second trapped himself. Urel with her own ult already activated, and they're pushing them back extremely aggressively here. It's a 5 versus 4 after all, though, and with a fountain up too, the red team has a lot of sustain down here, and they're trying to use it. Top side being pushed, mid lane, Urel is there. Down at the bottom of the map, with all the fireworks that they can muster, it is Chromie from the back that gets the damage in together with the web weavers, and that leaves us now with 2 forts destroyed on the red team side. Top side getting pushed even further. Arion doing his best to stop it with Sylvanas, but some damage is absolutely inevitable. And the blue team is pushing at the bottom of the map. They're down at the bottom of the map now, trying to take this one on, and the red team really has to fall back and defend this, unless they're totally fine giving up the wall and maybe some hit points on the keep itself. There's also level 13. Garrosh is back, by the way, too. 27,000 damage by Tychus. I mean, he is by far the top damage dealer in the game right now. Leo is top damage for the red team, so Jaina and Sylvanas aren't even up there, and well, that's one of the reasons, because Jaina is just getting absolutely slapped around in this game. So currently she has died 3 times. They get the kill on Garrosh at least, but it's still a 4 versus 4, and things are still looking good for the blue team. There's obviously a little bit of a caveat, and it's easily explained. As long as the red team keeps their gems together and doesn't lose too many here, they could with their own turn-ins always bring this back. Yeah, Morenas. Oh, Urel jumps out, gets the Ancestral. What a doggy. Look at Rhaegar, sacrificing himself for the Space Goat. That's a friend. That's a friend. That's not only a healer, that is a friend. He comes in, he's like, I can heal myself, or I can heal you. And he just heals the Space Goat. And then Morenas goes in, fucks it up, and dies anyways. Yeah. That's a mad dog right now. That's a very mad doggy. It looked really good when he did it, and then, you know, his trust got betrayed. And he's just sitting there now. I could have healed myself and run away. And that's happening. So, yeah. Now the turn is there. Guys, we have 5 kills all of a sudden for the red team. So the enjoyers, they didn't enjoy the early game. But they are very determined to enjoy the mid and the late game. So they're now coming in with their first turn in. They have pretty much a second one available after this one's done. And if you look at experience, the teams are actually pretty even now. So if you want to take a closer look at the experience distribution, you can do it right here. But thanks to those 5 kills, they all of a sudden have taken the lead here, and they have a minion experience lead too. So they can try and take some structures out. If they're able to get both turn-ins in a row, they could flip this game on its head. And it's looking good. So yeah, top side, Chromie is defending down here. Lots of damage already being done. Here's again the Lulnado, and Garrosh is just absolutely locked into a corner. No chance for him to survive. Absolutely love the way that they were cutting off all his paths of retreat, and they're trying to do the same thing now also with Tychus and Urel. Tychus eats the hammer, and that is not only the 7th kill for the enjoyers, but also the first fort that gets destroyed down at the bottom of the map. And newsflash, they're all of a sudden ahead in experience. Not by much, but they're ahead. They're trying to draw even in structures. They're taking the lead in the experience, and this is just looking better and better and better for them. Yeah, they're making moves. Down here, though, blue team trying to fight back. They get Sylvanas, and they also save the Space Goat. But the camp has already been claimed, and Chromie is in trouble. So, yep, the gnome goes down, and nobody recovers the gems either. So this is all of a sudden a full-on bloodbath between the two teams here. Hit after hit is coming, and they're really going for it. I mean, Leo is now dead. That's 17 kills in total that we're seeing here. They want to turn in again, or at least safeguard as many of the gems as they still have. They don't have a turn-in available, but they can get pretty darn close. Itrax is hoping for some reinforcements before he goes for the camp, and he is getting them. Leo with the Royal Focus after the Ominous Wraith. We now have the Will of the Forsaken in the house, and up at the top, trying to use the opportunity, the blue team with the push for Fort. They want to destroy the last one that is on the map for the red team. They're currently doing the best they can in order to make that happen. Massive, massive change in the pace of this game right now. I mean, a full swing in momentum that we have between the two. Initially, it was the blue team that dictated every single step and made all of the big decisions here, but now it has just completely flipped thanks to the enjoyers taking this big team fight at the bottom of the map and chasing them down one after another. Now Jaina has also completed her quest, so that means that now with Ice Block she has a lot more survivability. That should help her too. She dropped a lot in the earlier stages of the game, so that was definitely a concern. Another 10 gems have been delivered. Now they got plenty to get that turn in, but the blue team is trying their hardest to make sure that doesn't happen anytime soon. So the action is still on. Tyke is a little bit far out here and might get punished for it. Rhaegar with the Ancestral is immediately ready. It's Garrosh that dies first, and Chromie is in trouble too. Blue team is all of a sudden starting to fall apart a little bit. Look at the coordination that we're getting here from their opponents. Yep, down goes the doggy. Nice kill by Leoric. Really well done. They were trying to chase the Space Goat a little bit, but Morenas is going to escape here. It doesn't change the fact that they just locked 3 kills in and can now easily go for the boss here. So they are looking just stellar. What has happened? I mean, seriously. The Storm League Enjoyers, which is absolutely demolished, and then Team Ash fell apart as the red team finally got their shit together and was able to coordinate their attacks way better, get the damage connected, and now we're looking at a red team that is dominating. Absolutely dominating the performance here. So, yep. Really, really well done. They get the boss, they get the turn in, and now they can go for the double whammy here. So, yeah. That's actually pretty huge. So, level 20 is also available for Chromie, so she gets a bit of an advantage on this one. But if you look at the experience, it's very clear which team is going to hit the Storm Talons first, and yep, that's going to be the Enjoyers. So they're already going for the top 4. That will put them on even footing in structures, but obviously they're not going to be happy just destroying the fort. They want way more than this. They have Web Weavers coming through, they have the boss, they definitely want to keep here, and now they might even be able to get a kill. They're already coming in for it. The Ancestral is again out early. Fort in the middle, likely going to be destroyed by the Web Weavers as well. But down here, Mirrodin in a bit of trouble, still gets out, and Garrosh gets killed again. Garrosh down for the 5th time now. Look at that Entomb! Glorious Entomb, and Sylvanas kills 4 heroes in total. They're going to go for game here. I mean, look at the Entomb and the follow-up plays. Garrosh the first one to fall. Really well executed, and then they get the Entomb out, they destroy the entire team, and that is game. 16 kills as they kill Chromie against 9, and that is the lead in the best of 3 series for the Enjoyers. What a turnaround. Damn, son. Well played, really well done by the Storm League Enjoyers against Team Ash on the first map of this best of 3. Alright everybody, before we're going into the next series, once again a quick note and a PSA here. If you want to support the channel for absolutely free, doesn't cost you a thing, you can just click the link to one of our sponsors in the description. They have currently some pretty insane offers because of Black Friday, Christmas coming up, but even just clicking the link and visiting the website already helps the channel. So take a few seconds and check them out. And in addition to that, I also want to highlight again that I absolutely love the products that these guys have. I have multiple watches from them. They also have sunglasses. I own a pair by now too, and currently they have some incredible offers. So if you're still shopping for Christmas, if you're still looking for some presents, you want to buy something for yourself, you should really check them out. Now, to support the channel, again, all you got to do is click the link. That already helps, but I would highly recommend that you browse through the website a little bit, always assuming that you're a little bit like me, you're still looking for presents. You haven't really given them a big thought yet, but yes, you can find all of the special offers that they have there right there on the website. Can obviously change to the language of your country too, so definitely make sure to check them out. But again, to support the stream, to support me, all you got to do for now is just like have a look over there and browse a little bit through their stuff. Thanks a lot and enjoy the rest of the series. Okay, Battlefield of Eternity, second map in the best of 3 here in the winner bracket of Meta Madness qualifier number 2. Okay, so it's gonna get interesting here very quickly. That game just flipped. Halfway through, the game just absolutely flipped. So, yeah, kind of wild. And the Storm League Enjoyers, the Polish team, I believe, is now in the lead. And it was a wild one. Battlefield of Eternity is our second map, so let's see what they can do here. Now, keep in mind, we have 8 heroes that are pre-banned for the second qualifier. You can see them down here. And the 10 heroes that were played on the first map can now also not be played anymore. So, currently, as we're entering the draft for game number 2, 18 heroes are unavailable to the 2 teams. again, gotta think this through a little bit. You really have to pay attention here. Now, if this series ends with a 2-0, then it's not going to have as big of an impact. But just imagine this going to the third map, for example. All of a sudden, you're going into the third draft and 28 heroes are banned out. So you see where this is going. The grand final is a best of 5, and things can get very special there very quickly. So yeah, we're easing our way into this. Meta Madness in the past worked a little bit differently. For the qualifiers, we always had 0 pre-bans. It was only the rule that you couldn't play hero twice, and then the pre-bans kicked in all of a sudden in the playoffs. But here we're doing it gradually as we have more heroes banned through sub-goals. We're going from qualifier to qualifier and increase the number of bans like that. And it's going to make it interesting how the teams are going, you know, to adapt from one week to another. But alright, let's see what's happening on Battlefield of Eternity. So, as you can already tell, first pick, first ban was chosen by the losing team. So, as per usual agreement, the team that loses a map can decide whether they want to choose the map or whether they want to go and pick first and ban first. And normally, traditionally, teams that lose decide that they want to have first pick, first ban. Which means that the enjoyers in this case have chosen the map. So, they said, hey, Battlefield of Eternity, that's it. And now we have Varian also banned. And let's see what else we're getting here. It's kind of sad that Varian is banned. Personally, I really like sniper comps. I love it when you when you pair Varian with Stukov, Malfurion, and try to get that done. Liming also banned out. For a second I was thinking, it's like, oh my god, maybe we're going to see Vala. And then I was just like, wait a second. There was something there. I was like, ah yeah, pre-bans. I told all of you, enjoy your Genji games in the first qualifier. I told you that last week, because it was super clear that Genji would be the first one to get the axe once that we're going into pre-bans. And yes, so Genji is already out. He's not going to be played any longer. That's just not going to be a thing. But alright, now that we're heading into our second map, we still have Johanna up, of course. She wasn't played yet. So, Jojo in the house. And how is the red team opening this up? There's still a couple of damage dealers obviously around against the Immortal. I mean, you can go Bambi, you can go full Lunara on them, you can go Greymane. Jimmy, Exterminator, another good choice later on. But they start things off with a Nuburak and with Uther. Now, just as a bit of a side note, also, heroes like Maiev and Sergeant Hammer are still up. They banned some of them on the first map, but they are still available, so that's something that they can actually do here. And I am personally very curious to see what exactly those choices are going to be. So, yeah. Are we going to get a comp that is this aggressive, or are they playing it more traditional? There she is. Maiev is there, together with Stukov. So, Maiev played by Bishops, good hero for him. Stukov, so that Maiev can tether all of the targets straight into a Lurking Arm. And then Jojo with Condemn, with a Blessed Shield as follow-ups. Can be really spicy now in those team fights, especially if they're trying to play as aggressive as they did on the first map. Now, initially it worked, right? They went in, they stole the camp away, they killed Deckard Cain, and was off. I mean, they destroyed the fort in the middle within absolutely no time, but once that the Joyas really found their rhythm, it was a completely different ball game. So let's see if the blue team can now get their act together and really bring this back, because I was a little bit surprised. I thought that there would be a bit more resistance, but it seemed that once that the Enjoyers picked up steam in game number 1, they just went straight over them. So, yeah. We'll see. Little resistance there towards the end. Cassia banned. Damage dealers obviously already getting targeted here a little bit. Still got plenty of mages around here. And with the stuns that they have, they could use those mages to deliver some easy burst damage here too. It's always a question how exactly you want to handle it. Are you going to go against the opponent's team? Do you want to have some extra immortal damage? Are we going to get Greymane, Lunara? Is it going to be, I don't know, Gul'dan that they all of a sudden bust out here? It's Sergeant Hammer and Nezebo. Okay, let's go. Nazebo is interesting because Nazebo with spiders can be very annoying on Battlefield of Eternity. Generally, of course, when you play him on any other map, oftentimes the Toad build these days is just simply better because you can push easier and also get your stacks together. But if you're just trying to poke from a distance the entire time, then the spider build is quite appealing. There's Greymane, so we would see him eventually. And we get Chen as well, played by Morenas here. Okay, so the Panda is in the house. We got Jojo, we got Maiev. On the other side, we get Nazebo. They still need a side laner, which they don't have right now. So what's going to be the weapon of choice? Battlefield of Eternity, as mentioned, is our second map. Could be the last one, depending on who takes it here. An opportunity for the enjoyers to continue to the next round. And we get a Malthael. Alright, we're set. Second map. Let's go straight for it. We got Team Ash against the Storm League Enjoyers. We finally get Nazebo again, playing for the red team this time. The Enjoyers with the lead in the series, and now they're playing on the second map with Sergeant Hammer, played by Arian, Ether on Malthael, Lavakal on Uther, Atrax with a Witch Doctor, and Twice is playing a Nubarak. On the left side though, the blue team trying to bring the series back. And go for a mini reverse sweep in the best of three here. They're playing with Shizakid on Johanna. We have Renella on Stukov, Morenas on Chen, Lopaka on Greymane, and Bishops is playing Maiev. So, aggressive start, possibly from the blue team. As usual, I guess, but let's see what Nazebo can do. And there it is, by the way, so the spider build. So they're going for a spider build so they can poke against the Immortal. Again, it's an adjustment to the map more so than anything else. Normally, when you would look at the Nazebo build, and I mean, we had Nazebo in the first qualifier, then you're approaching things slightly differently here. But not so in this case. They really want something that can deal with the Immortal, where you have some outside poke, you just gotta get close enough. But the red team is already losing their first hero because guess what? The blue team is angry. They're very angry. They're coming in as like, yeah, we hate this. We lost the first map. That wasn't planned. It started off so well and then we get absolutely crushed there. But Bishops, talk about getting crushed. Has to be careful because that was close, my friend. Seemed like he would fall too. Up at the top lane, we have Fat Illidan for the blue team and the Angel of Death is trying to take him on there. Down here at the bottom of the map already. Nice. Good lurking arm. Very well done. And here comes the Nubarak. So initially a really good defense and zone control for the blue team. Now Nubarak dives in just to die, committing honorable Sudoku as Sergeant Hammer gets also murdered. And even with the rotation that they have, they might lose a third one. And indeed they do. So Malthael is dead as well. Yeah, that backfired heavily. I'm a little bit of a deja vu, everybody. Didn't game number one look like this? So first the Nubarak dies, then they're going for Sergeant Hammer and control the point there too. Come in, block off Malthael, and they kill him as well. This is very, very reminiscent of what we saw in game number one. Early game domination by the blue team as they're absolutely murdering everyone on the other side. And then all of a sudden the game flips. So we'll see what exactly is going to happen as the game progresses. If maybe at some point the Enjoyers are fed up and turn things around again, but at least for now they are suffering. So yeah, they are having some problems here. We got 4 kills to 0, walls are being opened up. Jojo's the only one defending down at the bottom of the map. I guess the only thing that Shizakid is going to do is blind Sergeant Hammer every now and then and try to buy a little bit of time and space here, and it's going to be a trade. And honestly, I don't really think that the Enjoyers can win that trade, and it doesn't really look like they can, does it now? Half of the HP already gone over here, down at the bottom of the map. Yeah, also a little bit dicey. They're already sending heroes down, by the way. They could have also decided to just push through the top lane for the keep, but that would also have opened them up for a quick rotation towards the top. So now the defense at the bottom is in full swing, and it seems like they're losing one. Bishops! Yeah, he got close to escaping, but he's gone. And while they are pushing for the fort, they are already going for the objective. So on the one hand, that's not too bad, because at the end of the day, what you're trying to accomplish is, of course, you want to destroy forts, right? You want to destroy structures. But a big Immortal is also going to do a whole lot here. So they're losing a lot of time. Halftime show has already been won. Here comes Chen. Yeah, Fat Illidan is jumping in again. And Greymane is back to business. He's already on the Immortal and is chunking this one down. They're gonna win this one. It's a really nice start again for Team Ash. We've been here before. I've seen this before. This time they gotta be consistent. I think that's gonna be the biggest one. If they can be consistent around this, then it's a completely different story. But it didn't work out for them in game number 1 at least. For now they have the lead in experience though. They have a big Immortal. They have destroyed the top fort. And now they have an opportunity at the bottom of the map and do their thing there. So, we get the targeted decision. We have the siege tactics and throwing shade. And Nazeebo is starting to look decent on his level 1 when in regards to completion. Baseline 34, again, not all that much, but it's always a bit tricky when you're on a 2-lane map, so that's one of his big problems right now. But the way that they are... I mean, again, the map that they've drafted Nazeebo for lends itself more so towards this Immortal poke, and you're not necessarily looking at an early viral infection immediately with level 20. So it is a bit different. This isn't Tumor Spider Queen, for example, where a different strategy would definitely be utilized by them. But there is a lot of damage already happening, as you can tell. The bottom fort has been destroyed. They're breaking through the wall at the keep. So the first 5 minutes of this game are going definitely to Team Ash. They want to bring this back. They want to tie the series, and they want to make sure that they force game number 3. And right now, at least, things are looking good. So with the next Immortal coming up, they can also use Nazeebo finally to poke down the Immortal a bit. That they didn't really have that opportunity in the first one. The way the game played out just didn't lend itself to it. So they can use him for poke. We also now have Hava Siege mode. That in and of itself obviously is already a huge advantage. But let's not forget that they've lost 2 forts already and that they're 1.5 levels behind. So that's the bad news. Because the second that you're finding yourself in a situation where your opponent is hitting the early level 10 and, well, you also don't have a fort anymore, you kind of know you are in trouble. So the blue team should have a pretty easy time winning the second objective as well. Yeah, let's just put it like that. But, alright. For now, we have half a level missing until level 10 gets hit. Blue team is already dominant with their positioning on the map. You have the red team just sitting tight, being careful. They know fully well that they shouldn't move too far out on the map now, or they could get ganked and then get destroyed again, especially when the next talent hits. And there's just no way to close that gap. There's absolutely no way. They time the camps... And, well, unless they... Yeah. If Bishops gets caught here and dies, that would have changed things. But obviously unlikely, and he makes it out easily. So here's the big chance now. This should be nearly 100% shield. Yeah, they go for the Immortal. Nobody's even getting close. There's absolutely no chance for the Enjoyers to close the experience gap. They can just defend. And I would assume that from their perspective, what they are hoping for is to get level 10 for the defense. That would obviously already help them. So, yeah. Nazeebo on 57 stacks. We have also on level 7 the adjustment with the Guardian of Ancient Kings for Uther. Panda obviously went into the top shelf play. Only the best for the blue team here. So yeah, we're going full keg on this one. And they have the 100% on the shield. So... yeah, this one's gonna hurt. And I'm not even sure anymore that they can get level 10 for defense. So that makes matters worse. They're already being forced back here. And if they can't get heroic abilities in time, then this is gonna be the first keep of the game before the 10-minute mark hits. If they lose some heroes on the initial defense, they might even lose the game here. This is getting really nasty. I mean... again, no level 10 just now. Even with level 10, it's already looking bad enough as is. But if you don't even have Storm Talons, I mean, what the hell are you supposed to do? Nazeebo at the bottom of the map has been stacking up a bit. Up here at the top, they're getting... yeah, there it is. Okay, finally. So they lost some, but they didn't lose everything. Morena's also nearly dying over here. Good job. They were able to push him back a bit. Fat Illidan needs to be a bit careful here, but no ults were used. But at least it's now an even fight. This keep still has to get murdered. Gary is in the game. Gary the Gargantuan taken by Nazeebo, who is sitting at 80 stacks now at level 10. They might not even get the keep. Damn. That would have way better for the Enjoyers than I thought it would. Way better. Top fort has been destroyed, yep, but that was already early on, so technically they only got a wall. I really thought this could be total disaster for the red team. But it's this mid-game, right? Like, this is where they turned the game around on map number 1. So maybe they can do it again. At this point, Divine Shield is out to save Sergeant Hammer. Even the Cocoon has been used here. So they are throwing out some of their ults very quickly to save Sergeant Hammer and make sure that they're not being forced into a fight that they don't want to fight. But a good initial defense from the red team. They still have a long way to go in order to bring this game back. But they held on to the keep at the top. And that is already quite an accomplishment. So, good for them. Last rights for Malthael. So he's going to try to play around that for a few easy kills and some cooldown reduction on his ult. But he's not going to get any of that anytime soon, or is he? 13 gives us the On the Prowl, and we got also Virulent Infection for Stukov. The red team is now finally venturing out onto the map a little bit, but you can still tell that they're hesitant here, and for good reason, of course. They don't have level 13 talents. Now, that skill problem, that talent disadvantage is not that big of a deal. Still annoying, still a power spike for the blue team that they don't have. But let's see if they're willing to take a couple of fights here. For now, Chen isn't here, has his ult up, can keg in. Malthael is dead, so is Sergeant Hammer. Blue team again just running over them, and I'm not sure what exactly Chen was thinking. That seems like he either fat-fingered his ult or he thought he had a different position, because obviously if he can kick anybody into the team, they get another kill, but that wasn't even close. So yeah, that didn't really do a whole lot. Maybe he just wanted to also go full Pirate. And just do his thing here. Who knows? Jojo's up at the top. Blue team is completely dominating this now. They lost only a single hero. We have Nzibo doing his thing down at the bottom of the map, gets more stacks together. Yeah, but this is going to be another full shield immortal, and how are you going to stop that now? This time it's going to travel down to the bottom of the map, and I would assume that they can take the keep out with this. I mean, the wall has already been destroyed here, so you don't really have to go through that either. You can go straight for the keep. 100 stacks for Nzibo, by the way. The damage numbers are, by the way, reflecting what we are seeing here. Sergeant Hammer is the only exception. You have like 16,000. It's actually, now that I look at it, it's actually a bit interesting, because the red team has technically more damage on all accounts compared to the blue team. I mean, look at this for a second. 3 heroes on the side of the red team have more damage than anyone on the blue team, and still they just can't get their kills, and it's the blue team that has one kill after another. It's actually quite interesting. Maybe now? Yep, Chen is gone. So finally get their kill. Good timing for that too. Defense is moving down to the bottom of the map, but with this 2-pronged attack that they are setting up, they will walk away with 1 keep at least, I'd assume. Ether again, a little bit low here. Yeah, Malthael could go for another move. They got level 13 now as well. They're still trying to catch up here. And Nzibo is trying to do his best, but obviously he needs some assistance. He can't just pull this one off alone. It's not happening. So the keep at the bottom of the map, they are not going to save this. This is just not going to be a thing. Up at the top, on the other hand, even with only 3 heroes, Sergeant Hammer is going to make sure that they can't push in for free. Divine Shield even has to be used now on Anubarak to save him. But the disc is missing, and they're still looking decent here, but now they're losing hit points. They should be able to push this back, though. So, yeah, Immortalers destroy the bottom keep, scratch the core a little bit. Now they're looking for another kill. Can they go for one? No, and it turns on them again. Last rights, finally a stack for Malthael. It is Maiev that falls, and they're dishing out more and more damage. 16 talents are on the board. Blue team is on the retreat again. Cocoon is out, so they should be able to at least pick 1 more kill up. Maybe even more than that. Oh, yes. Greymane dies, but did you look at Malthael there? He nearly got crushed because he overchased and nobody was with him. In all fairness, he was very close to get 1 or 2 kills. So now that they have finally some momentum again, they're doing exactly the same thing that they did on Tomb of the Spider Queen. They're trying to make the most of it. They're pushing in with everything they have here and take down that top fort, I suppose. I mean, they got everybody here now. Chen is going up against Ether down at the bottom of the map. Wants it. Oi, 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 Malthael. Playing with vision here. Where's that last right cooldown when you need it? Dude, stay close. You can drop it. No, it would have been so cool if you could have just turned it there. Drop last rights on Chen and then just peace out. But not quite. So we are on level 16 for both teams in just a minute. But we have one fort now destroyed at the top. And guys, this isn't... You can salvage this. You can actually salvage this. Naz is at 122 stacks. If he gets Vile Infection, maybe there's a chance to bring this back, even with the Spider build. I mean, Spider build again, for a reason. They want it for the Immortal fights. So, that's a good thing to have. Toad build, better if you're just looking for push power. Particularly with Wild Infection, that's really nice. But now Nazeebo is finally in that spot where he wants to be, where he can poke from a distance with spiders against the opponent's Immortal and just go and poke every now and then. So, yeah, you just need to get him onto the other Immortal here, or play around with that. So, once again, here comes the attack. Blessed Shield is already out. Blue team obviously looking to finish the job here. They still have a camp at the bottom of the map that will march towards the core and get some catapults onto it. We're currently 15 minutes into the game. But I'm just saying, we thought in game number 1 that the game was more or less done. And it wasn't. But if at any point the enjoyers really want to do something, they need to win a fight. They need to also win an objective. They can't just simply sit here, play the long game, and get slowly poked down on their own Immortal. There's last rights, and no way he survived. What? Damn! Murena survives Malthael's ult, is able to get away from this. But they have finally bought themselves a bit of time here. And also up at the top, there is still a camp that is doing damage here, so that's also happening. And look how quickly they're burning this one down. So actually they have a very nice pressure play against Immortals with their composition. They lose the halftime show, but they nearly caught up with this just by a few seconds up on that. Now the Blessed Shield comes out as again the blue team is looking for kills, is hoping to finish this one early. And Ubrak is low, good heals coming out from Uther here. And they're trying to turn it again, and the blue team is starting to struggle. Malthael comes in once more and is too aggressive here. Gets killed. Sergeant Hammer with 53,000 damage trying to poke them. The disc is out. Cocoon initially locked down Greymane. And that's the end of Anubarak. Anubarak has been taken down. 8 kills, 2-4. And yep, things are looking once again great for the blue team. It got a little bit close for a few moments, similar to what we experienced in game number 1. But now with another big shield, more than 50% on the Immortal, they should be able to push this through the keep towards the core and maybe even force game number 3 right here and now. So there's the opportunity. Atrax already getting attacked now. They're trying to come in for him. The Panda has to be a bit careful. Oh, he gets killed by the spiders. Nazeebo comes in and drops him with the damage over time. Do they stand a chance after all? I highly doubt it, because it's just too much, but it's a 5 versus 4 now. So maybe they have a chance. Nazeebo is doing what he can to drop the damage, and so does Sergeant Hammer, but they somehow have to survive on the core, and that's the big problem. Even with the shield gone on the Immortal, the shield on the core, by the way, is not gone just yet. So more and more poke is happening. Another jump, another hit, but the shield's gone. The core is taking damage. They need to take the Immortal down. They're gonna save it. They're gonna save it to fight another day. 58% on the core, and they're still in the game. I mean, you gotta give them that. They are really fighting tooth and nail. They're not letting go here. They are just they're keeping the hopium alive. But it is, I mean, 1.5 levels behind, no level 20 just yet. They cannot afford to lose another Immortal. They cannot afford to lose another objective. So with the blue team hitting level 20, they need to bridge this gap, and they need to bridge it quickly. And I'm just not sure they can. Nazeebo might be their saving grace if they're able to pull it off, because yes, he is gonna have his stacks. There he is at 170 already. 171, so yep, he is gonna get that done. Easily. He's gonna get the stacks together, but they need to bridge this entire level. And obviously, what they're doing right now is on the right side going for camp after camp and take another one. But, yeah. So let's see what he's gonna do here. Blue team is already pressure. Like, look at the minimap. It's actually insane. There's a double camp on every single lane. They're trying to end the game before the red team has a chance to get level 20. That's clearly the idea here. End it before they become a threat. End it before they can fight back. End the game, force map number 3 before they have anything here. Uther gets away. Uther gets away for now. They want to go for the core. Half a level to 20. Blue team is determined. They're very determined. Sergeant Hammer still alive and gets killed by the Winions. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is game map number 3 incoming as Team Ash takes Battlefield of Eternity. Infernal Shrines, game number 3. Team Ash with a finishing move on Battlefield of Eternity. They could have gone for the objective. They really could have gone for the objective, let the red team get level 20, and they were like, no. Not happening. We're gonna end this before these guys have Storm Talons. We're not gonna risk anything here. So they pushed for core, and they made it happen. It's always bad. It's always a bad feeling when you're a Zebo player. You have your stacks ready, and the game ends just before you hit level 20. That's always annoying as hell. Like, long time ago, before Heroes was released, I was playing Dota 2 a lot, and I really loved it. And one of the heroes that back in the day was really meta, and again, we're talking when I was still in Korea, right, was Nikes. And when you played Nikes, you were just like farming pretty much the entire game to become an unstoppable killing machine. And once that you became the unstoppable killing machine, the fun began. And one of the things that I hated the most is when you actually like farmed the entire game. You were playing around the opponent, you went from camp to camp, from lane to lane, you evaded ganks and everything, and then you finally had your items together and you were in a position where you could just annihilate everything, go 1v5 if you needed to, and your opponent just looked at you and he was like, oh yeah, game over, and everybody left. That was the shittiest feeling in the world. It was like, okay, I just worked for like half an hour to 40 minutes just to finally get my reward here, and then everybody just goes and surrenders. So, yeah, but okay. That's how Nazebo feels a little bit. He works the entire time, and then just before he gets his reward, finally, everybody is just like, alright, game over, see you later. Okay, so we're in game number 3. Guys, what does that mean? 8 heroes are banned for the entire event. Bam, they're down here. 20 heroes that have been played in game number 1 and game number 2 cannot be played again either. 28 heroes, unavailable. As we're heading into game number 3. So, now we are already getting into an interesting side of all of this. Now teams really have to think a bit about, okay, what do we do now? What are we willing to play? What is still available? I mean, Tracer, for example, is up now that we're heading on Infernal Shrines if you really want to. So that's something that you can drop. Stitches, they got rid of him. Falstad is up, the birdie. So there are still plenty of heroes around. It's not like they don't have anything to play, but you have to be a little bit more willing to just think outside of the box at this point, because with 28 heroes off the board and 89, 90 heroes in the game, you gotta be a bit careful there. So we get Varian. Malfurion should still be up as well, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think he has been played yet. So with that in mind, there is follow-up available that they could use in order to block off either the path into or out of a shrine. And when Varian comes in with a taunt, they can do that too. So we got Dehaka and we got Falstad. So right off the bat, the blue team coming in with the double global that they're trying to use here. Okay. Double global for them. So let's see what they can do with 2 globals. Dehaka for top lane pressure, Falstad also with Gust that they can use too. Let's see if they can combo something. They gotta go for old school combos. Does anybody remember Prague? Falstad Butcher. Played on Battlefield of Eternity, by the way. And if I'm not mistaken, won the game. Tracer and Sonya. Okay, so Tracer was more or less called already and predicted. Sonya, another really good hero when you are trying to dominate the shrine battles. So another good one for them here. Like it. Yeah, what are they gonna get rid of with the bans now? Kerrigan is also up, just saying. So if you want to play a melee-heavy composition, you could play Kerrigan. Obviously, Mephisto is another good ban. Gul'dan also still available, so we have a couple of majors. If you're trying to look for some nice CC chains, you could even go ETC at the front line. You have a follow-up from Kel'Thas available if you're looking for some damage there. Also for some AoE that you can play and additional CC. So they have some very nice tools still in store that they could both rely upon if they wanted to. Winner moves on, loser drops into the losers bracket. So we get white main. That's our first or last ban for this match. And now a little bit of a moment of truth here, because at this point they gotta decide, okay, what's the front line, what are we playing with here? And also, do they already go into the early support? Because with now 2 supports banned, I mean, at this point you kind of want to look towards a healer. Or your opponent's going to take another one away from you and you're stuck with Lily or some shit like that. Cassia and Kharazim. Okay. Okay. So they go for Cassia. They take budget Khaldor. And now the last 2 picks for the red team. So they still need a support and they still need a little bit more damage. I would assume that we're going to get a mage here, given the hero pool. I'm actually still waiting for the moments when we're getting mainly Jimmy as a damage dealer on Battlefield of Eternity. And I think that is going to happen eventually. So Auriel and Gul'dan. There's my mage. Okay, so Gul'dan is in. We get Auriel together with this. So time for the whip. And that leaves us with the final pick for Shizakid. Last pick for this first best of 3. So, yep. What's that going to be? They still need a main tank. Unless, of course, they're... Okay, Tyrael. Tyrael. And that puts us straight into game number 3. Alright, guys, let's go. Which team moves on to the winner bracket? Which team drops down into the losers? Let's find out together. Infernal Shrines, 3rd map in the series. Game number 3, the final map in this series. In the winner bracket of qualifier number 2, Renella on Kharazim for Team Ash, Shizakid on Tyrael, Morenos on Dehaka, Bishops on Falstad, and Lopaka is playing Cassia. On the right side of the map, the Enjoyers with Lavikal on Auriel. We get Itrax on Gul'dan. Twice is playing Varian. Itrax, by the way, with the Echoed Corruption here as his level 1 choice. We have Ether on Sonya, and Arian is playing Tracer. As already expected, I mean, again, with Tracer still available, it was more or less a given that she would make an appearance here. Was banned out in some of the previous encounters already in this series. A really tight series. I like it. Fantastic opener into qualifier number 2. Already some poke happening here in the middle of the map, as particularly Gul'dan is starting to stack up his quest. Kind of wants to be done by level 16 so that he gets the proper synergy with Woundless Affliction. And guess what? Tracer gets licked and killed. Easy Katka comes in and goodbye. So Tracer is gone already. First blood. It's again the blue team that starts it off with a bit of a bang. I believe this is now the 3rd time in a row that they are super aggressive early on and get their kills. Kharazim wanted another one. They couldn't get it. But they got close to dropping not only Sonya but maybe even Varian here. Now, the red team is already used to playing a little bit on the defense in the early game. It's 2 games in a row now where they definitely struggled. One time they were able to turn it around, the other times they weren't quite able to pull that off. So down here now, we have a bit of a rotation coming with Dehaka. Somebody wants to go for a lick, but the whip is out. And that is the end of Dehaka's attempt to take down Gul'dan. So, 1 kill to 0 as things are starting to settle a little bit. Not too much. I mean, again, we got another move for Sonya here. Doesn't die, but they're still fully willing to now go for Renella, for example. And without that shield that Tyrael dropped, that would have been the end of Kharazim for sure. So they are still hyper aggressive with this. Opens up some space for Falstad at the top though, and Bishops is taking advantage of that immediately. 1 tower already destroyed, so great opening again for them. They love to be aggressive. They love to push the envelope a bit, particularly in the early game. And you can see it right here. So, yep, job well done. Nicely played out. They take also with that a lead in experience, but how far they can really push this, that's of course a bit of a different story. So, yeah. Now either way, with that, we have currently all the way up at the top. Still a little bit of action going on here. Particularly Falstad was of course eager to destroy some of the towers already early on, and now he even got some assistance, and together they were dropping not only the hit points on the gate but also trying to see if they can maybe take a hero down. With that, we now have down to the bottom of the map the next camp taken. And yeah, I mean, just generally they're doing a little bit better. Normally when you're playing on Infernal Shrines, what you're trying to accomplish in the early game is the early level 7 talent for the first objective fight. And with that tiny lead and experience that we now have for Team Ash, they should be able to get this one done. It's also that with a double global, they could seriously threaten their top lane. They're already opening this up. Nobody has taken the camps though, so that's the one thing that worries me a little bit. Ooh! Bishops did apparently not realize that the lick was successful, or they could have done more there. But the red team is able to pick up a kill down at the bottom of the map and takes down Karazim, so that is right from the get-go, putting a bit of a damper onto the ambitions of Team Ash for objective number 1. And since the red team is now really pulling ahead on this, I don't really think they can get it. So even with level 7 talents, if they want to re-engage into the shrine fight, I don't think there's a way for them to win the objective. Instead, they're defending up at the top. Keep in mind, they themselves have not taken their shrine at the top. So, sorry, their camp at the top. So that's something that they missed out on. And now they have to deal with the Frozen Punisher at the bottom of the map. This is flipping already. I like the global plays with Falstad and with the Haka. I think this could have maybe done even be done better. But now it's another problem because that Punisher jump was propped in front of the gate, so now they didn't even have that, couldn't bait it over. That's usually Plastic League level, but yeah, they thought they could bait it with Karazim and that didn't help. But now at least they get a kill. So Gul'dan is it's a bit of a weird game, isn't it? They don't bait it over properly. Lots of hit points lost on the fort. The entire wall destroyed. They get a kill against Gul'dan at least. Now the game paused too. Yeah, it's a bit spicy. Yeah, I'm not quite sure if somebody dropped. But with the globals, they can definitely play the lanes and destroy the top wall, as you can see here. So that was a nice start. But the bottom, I mean, not going for the objective, not taking your own camp, now losing this much because you don't bait the Punisher properly over the wall. Blue team with a couple of L's here. But they're still able to defend, they're not losing too much, the fort isn't gone, Gul'dan is at least taken out. So there's a couple of things working for them. Question is just simply, yeah, how does this look when that the game stabilizes? Because I honestly thought that we would fall into the normal rhythms here, but far from it. I mean, essentially what we're seeing is still quite a bit of chaos between them, particularly because the two globals are trying to just out-rotate and out-maneuver the Enjoyers, which I actually like a lot. I really, really like that. If you have a team that plays well around globals, you can do a whole lot with that, and as the map opens up, they should have more and more opportunities to pull that off properly. So, yeah, let's see if as the game progresses, they can keep that up. But now it's just like experience and try to grab that, so everything's fine over here. You can really tell that there weren't any massive team fights yet, particularly on the objective, with Gul'dan having the most damage with only 10,000 5 minutes into the game. Look at Falstad, 7.7 thousand 5 minutes in is enough to get him top damage in the game for his team. So, yeah. But again, besides, we still have at the bottom of the map now Falstad doing his thing, the Haka at the top, so I keep highlighting this, but the globals, if they use them well here, they can do severe damage as this continues. Particularly if every now and then the globals also get a bit of assistance. Yeah, and as long as they are not caught, of course, because Falstad for just a second down here was in serious trouble. If they get the kill against him, that sets them back a bit. But the attacks, they keep coming. Gul'dan is also still looking for additional stacks, 14 for him now. But the leading experience is slowly ending up in the hands of Team Ash. So, yeah, they are able to go for level 10. It's not that they can go into an objective with it, but maybe, you know, they can go and invade a camp, do something here. It doesn't really seem like it, though. I'm not quite sure that they were aware where exactly the opponent was. They didn't have any vision or anything. We get Leap for Sonya. Leap, Aegis, and Cassia has yet to make a choice. Unfortunately, we don't get Hinterland Blast and Judgment. That would, of course, have been the ultimate troll here, but yeah, those are neat plays. Those are the plays that you need to make if you want to take some targets down quickly. A taunt from Varian and then a Leap follow-up from Sonya. And then bombs your uncle. But with that, yeah, Sonya isn't here, so it's a 4 versus 4. Oh, the damage from Gul'dan. And that's another kill. Tracer and Gul'dan cleaning house over here. The birdie is in the KFC basket, so yep, that's another kill. If Varian gets another taunt out, we're gonna see someone else fall. But yeah, so that was how all of this started. They went straight into the middle with this. Saw Karazim, there's a taunt, there's a leap, and that's a kill. Textbook Varian play with taunt and the follow-up. Didn't have another stun or anything outside of leap, so the sacrifice another cooldown, but it's working, of course, quite nicely. So initially it's the globals that do well, but all of a sudden that fort in the middle is destroyed. The fort at the bottom is already low, so the advantage that we saw from Team Ash in the early game is again negated. And it seems like every time we're hitting level 10, this is where the game flips. Game number 2, the blue team was able to make their plays and win the game eventually, but now in game number 3, they really have to be a bit more aggressive. And they're trying exactly that. So we have now an attempt to go for Sonya. She has leaped already used, so yeah, she's dead. Like, she's dead. Only thing is that the rotation could now also kill a couple of heroes, but that was a decent gust. Really nicely done, good gust for them. But the taunt on Tyrael, what did he expect would happen there? Sanctification did not happen in time. Did nearly get a kill against Tracer, by the way, so that fight is not over. But yeah, that's a kill on Gul'dan. Now Renella goes down. Jesus. They are... Oh my god, Falstad in trouble. He drops 2. Blow for blow here. 6 kills to 4 overall. Lopaka is also gone. That's kill number 7. And the Storm League Enjoyers are now on level 13. Napierdalai. Yeah, they are doing work. The Polish team is absolutely crushing it now. And you gotta give some blame, obviously, to the blue team, too. They went deep in order to get the kill against Sonya. The Gaston was nice, but it seems like Tyrael just thought, okay, I can play around with him a little bit. Forgot about taunt or didn't take it serious enough. His sanctification got interrupted when he was attempting to drop it. And once that Tyrael is out of the way, then the red team can just take him on one after another. And that's exactly what happened. So now another objective has to be given up because they weren't there with 5. They just didn't have the presence on the map at the time. Too many heroes dead. So they use their globals again to catch back up and can push the middle and the bottom of the map. But they are likely going to lose the fort up at the top. So, game is a bit all over the place right now, which I absolutely love. Chaos! And madness everywhere. Fort at the top, they will have to abandon this one. I don't even know why Dehaka is... Well, they don't need him at the bot lane now. You could have maybe pressured the bottom fort a bit, honestly. With Falstad and Dehaka both pushing. Bishops is, of course, still trying to do exactly that. But up at the top, there's the bait over the wall. Side wall has already been opened up, so they can start and follow up on a Punisher jump. Hasn't really played out in this case. But yeah, Dehaka is now saying quickly hi. Nothing too insane happening. Bit of damage done here in the middle. One of the towers down, the gate down. And of course, we have Bishops moving back down to the bottom of the map as well in an attempt to put more pressure onto the fort, but he can't stay too long. Again, you don't want to get crushed by the rotation that was already coming your way, and he knew that perfectly well. So yeah, that's the next thing. But alright, so with that, we have a fairly decent game going on. And this is game number 3, keep that in mind. This is the 3rd game in this series. So now we have a situation in which whoever makes a mistake first is likely going to get dropped down into the loser's bracket. That is the likely outcome of what's happening here right now. And I can't say that I envy the guys. I mean, this is intense. This is really intense right now. Bottom fort is gone, so structurally there's a massive advantage for Team Ash. They nearly got Tracer, but they are definitely trying to play the global card now. Tyrael is about to get destroyed again. Yeah, He's gone, but they're getting a fort at the top, so they're trying to use Falstad and Dehaka as best as they can in order to reclaim some infrastructure here. But the red team is so far ahead right now that with level 16 talents in their hands, they're just barreling through the wall, and they're going to force Falstad and Dehaka back. Or so I thought, but I guess you could also just sacrifice your keep. That, of course, works as well. If Falstad would have gone back, he could have used Gust and bought them a bit more time. But they're even going core, aren't they? Look at the enjoyers. They're saying, like, guys, if you push, we push. Okay. Top keep is gone. Falstad flies in. The Gust. And can they do something? Can they force the fight? They can go for Gul'dan, and they do. Gul'dan eliminated in the back. Yeah, leap misses. Falstad. Ah, they save him. Sonya missed everything there. She absolutely missed every single ability, the spear, the leap, and then she gets punished. So after the fort at the top was destroyed, now with the 2 kills that they just locked in, Team Ash can take down some additional forts, can't they? Let's take another look at Falstad coming in here. So yeah, they got the Gust and then the kill against Gul'dan, and now of course the attack against Sonya as she was going for the birdie. And that's another kill for the blue team. Level 17 for both teams, and look how aggressive they are still. They're coming in with more and more big plays. Another ult, Sanctification, 7-sided, and Varian is dead, and Horrified misses. Well, it hits, but it pushes them back, and the idea was, of course, to isolate somebody for a kill. So, this is looking awesome. Team Ash is turning it around again. Back and forth game. I mean, this is just going from one side to another. So 1 keep is now removed. 2 forts have been destroyed on the side of the Enjoyers. And there is a tiny... I mean, they have to take this down a little bit faster than that. Dehaka is pushing the bot lane out. So, yeah, nice effort there. Making sure that they are free of catapults at the bot lane. They have 20 stacks now, and Varian is still dead for another 9 seconds. So I don't think that the Enjoyers are really going to have any interest of fighting this. So it's going to be a free Arcane Punisher for Team Ash. Alright. Through the middle. Time to find out what they can do with that. Looking at damage numbers, we have 33,000 from Cassia. Top damage on that end for the blue team, and 36,000 for Tracer. So more camps are now being taken by the Enjoyers. That's the only thing that they can essentially do. But Falstad is already back up at the top, and it's always the macro game, right? Falstad pushing the top lane out, trying to save their own keep by applying pressure. And now look what they did. They actually went to 33 over here in the middle. 39, sorry. And they're just delaying this. They're buying time. They know that they, with the Globus, as long as they don't fight and play around the opponent, they have some really nice tools that they can use. But that's a problem. If you get caught, you get likely wrecked. There's Taunt. Oh, the bird! No! The birdie survives! The Sanctification saved them, but now he gets dropped after the ult duration is over. No! Oh my god! That was such a nice attempt initially. It was really them attempting to play it smart, not taking the objective yet. Dehaka's gonna do that now. But the entire idea here was really to buy some time for the globals to shine. And then this chase at the bottom of the map forced them to re-engage. And Falstad got hit by the Horrified just as he moved in. So really unfortunate. He can fly back in, but yeah, it's such a wild game now. It's a really interesting one. It's a perfect series to start the second qualifier off. So, yeah, bait over the wall. Can open this up a little bit. Dehaka is doing damage up at the top. Opens the side wall up maybe even. One of the towers is already down. And of course, down at the bot lane, the rest of the team can easily go for the fort. And at least take the outer ring of defense off. That relieves some of the pressure. Or it would have. If they would have gotten that destroyed. But they fell back because they don't want to get caught here. I mean, yeah, makes sense. You want to play that safe. I just wonder if maybe someone there had a chance to take it out after all. With level 20 for the red team, we now have Haunt in. They really need to destroy the bottom fort. Once that the red team shows at the top, Falstad or somebody else should really try to go down there, some global, and try and deal with it. Morenas is barely escaping this. that could have been problematic. But yeah, the birdie or somebody else should try and take this one out. If you have a catapult coming on every single lane against you and you have 0 counter pressure through your minion waves, that is an issue. That's a big problem. Particularly, well, maybe not so much for the next objective actually, now that I look at it. Because as you can tell, we currently have still the thing at the bottom of the map, so yeah. But yeah, let's see. Down here, what do we have? There's the gust, alright. And, well, let's see which one we're getting. Gust is already out. So they saved the bot lane for now. We have 20 versus 20 by now too, which gives us the Holy Arena. We have also Storm Shield in. Atrax gets attacked. Oh, nice! Beautiful ult! Glorious ult from Cassia. Cassia might have just saved them the game a bit. This is definitely another opportunity here. One of the globals, talking about opportunities, has to really now go down, or those catapults are going to rip the core a new one. So this game is spicy. This entire series has been spicy. But somebody really should go back for those catapults. Maybe they're lucky and just the minion waves alone already take them out, but the core might take some damage. Obviously, they're hoping to drive the momentum train straight into the heart of the Storm League enjoyers. But yep, that's 2 catapults now on the core. 17 minutes in, so it's some damage that comes out here. Up to the top, they don't really care about that at all now, but there's another minion wave now coming too. So this core is taking damage. They might even think about finishing this, but I don't think they can. Like, even the keep itself hasn't been destroyed yet, and the fort at the bot lane is also still there. So they're not getting anything out of this, really. It's an issue. Another great ult. Once again, like, Cassia's ults are so good for them now. They get Varian, they lose more hit points on the core, but the catapults are now defeated, so they sacrifice 17% on the core, and they got a double kill out of it. Guys, with that double kill, they might even be able to pull this one off. They got a double kill and they're sieging up here. They sacrificed 17%, the minions eventually took the catapults out, and now they're just sieging up here. But with Gul'dan just crushing them, I don't know if they can. Gul'dan has not completed his level 1 quest yet either. Gul'dan is at 37 stacks right now. So once that he has the synergy with Ruinous Affliction, yeah, there's the leap. They have still Holy Arena available, but Dehaka's gone. Dehaka's gone, and now they need to hightail it out of there. They cannot win with 4. They are not going to win this with 4. I do not understand what they're chasing. You are hoping to get Ether, I suppose, but at this point, you really want to move back. You really want to go back, and you might think about sending Falstad down to the bot lane to take the fort out. Falstad can easily fly down, drop the fort here from the side, and then just, yeah, hearth back to base. So, there's that. Catapults, of course, have to be taken out. But now each team has lost the catapult, keep. Each team has lost the keep now. So, yeah, it is a bit sick city. 10 kills to 10, and an objective is up as well. Dehaka isn't here yet. They get the lead at least on this, but they now have to use the wind tunnel in order to survive the initial attack. This series is sick. This series is absolutely insane. It's crazy. It really is crazy. We're 19 minutes, nearly 20 minutes in, and if the red team takes this objective, they could win it. Dehaka is back to business. It's a 5 versus 5 now. So 27 to 17 stacks, they gotta take this fight. Punisher would end the game, unless, of course, in the process of taking it, the enjoyers lose multiple heroes. But besides that option, Sonya barely not hit by this. Well, she got hit by it, but she got pushed into the corner. Mortar Punisher is in, and now the blue team is in trouble. The Storm League enjoyers. Guys, I gotta tell you, they are looking so much better here than I expected them to. Especially the first part of the first game looked like they would be dominated, but far from it. Instead, we have an eye-level match between the two teams here, and it seems more and more likely that it is the red team that walks away with the victory. Maybe Falstad could go towards the top. Is there a chance to go top side right now? Globals, go for it. Maybe they should have tried. I don't know. It's a shitty option, I admit, but I think they should have tried to just send the Globals to the top and go for core. Now they're gonna lose it for sure. Great plays, though, by the enjoyers. The red team with a 2-1 victory in the winner bracket as they send Team Ash down to the losers bracket and then move on to the next round themselves. GG.